I'm there. I just don't understand why they're so straight.
It's a little too far to do by hand. And if you've done it by hand, well, you're a champion, but I'm not. So, it's Now what I mean by out of control is that they were a bit long and probably should have cut them for like size. Well, good morning. I got my bag with me because I was going to get the drone up, but it started raining. It's like drizzling. I was going to start mowing for some hay. Yeah, it's really raining. Seek shelter, Josh. Lucky, we're on a farm and there's always something to do. It's a matter of deciding which things to do and which things you want to do.
Well,
This is throwing my plans into chaos. Well, I guess.
the spreader's still on.
Well, in that all, it was only a teeny tiny shower, so let's keep going with plan A. We will mow, paddock up the back. Also, I got to top a little piece where the irrigator has been forever and a day, because I topped the rest of that paddock. They didn't really do a good job grazing it down, so we'll go do that, swap an irrigator around, and
Take the spreader off to begin with though. For those that watched the last video, ignore that bit of a leak.
Well, it worked.
This is what I meant. If you watched the last video, you know that I've had some dramas with this, or any other videos. I've always had dramas with this. It's, yeah, it kept on dragging itself back and crooked and buggering things up, and last time it did it bad.
It destroyed a gearbox, which wasn't actually destroyed, it was just some bearings. Anyway, moving on.
This is very good. Finally.
About time having some wins. So clearly having
The cart facing that direction instead of that direction has made a bit of a difference for pulling back in.
And because it pull in and then just twist and cock around and oh.
Yeah! We do have a bit of a leak. I think it's new. There's one there. I just don't understand why they're so straight.
It's like someone's taken to it with a grinder.
Anyway, we've got that one finished just then, so we'll change it around and get this one going now.
Alright, we're off to a flyer. I've already worked it out. I've lost 3 blades.
See, nothing. Yes. Ooh, too nice. No blade. Bolts are a little bit worn and they're a bit easy to come out. Ooh, that plate doesn't look real good. Top hat.
Now something that people might not realise is that these discs turn in different directions. Well, some of them do. And so they've got different blades for different directions.
Now these two end ones actually spin the same way, so that way they move more of the swath out of the way for the next row. So these two are the same, whereas then they start to alternate with different
Directions. Didn't know that until I bought it. Anyway, we'll replace a couple of these blades. that looks better.
Yeah, we had one over Travis Head, we can see it at 6 runs, 3 weeks.
Well, let's finish this run, which is great. I'm now just unrolling it just a little bit so I can show you the stupid holes it made that we might be able to fix. That little hole there makes a whole lot of water. So that's new. Now this one here, how do these happen across like that? It really baffles me how that has actually happened. Hopefully Mark will come today, even though it's Sunday. Thanks Mark, appreciate your work if you do come. And what I believe, he'll take a little bit out of it and then weld it up. I wouldn't know the first thing about welding plastic.
You left with a tile.
Even though I got my hat on, there's no sun about. So that is the finished product. Obviously the generator was going, so it was a bit loud, but essentially it was a gun shooting plastic into it, heated at about 130 degrees. And so he ground out the edges there just to make a nice clean surface. Then drilled a bit in across, grinded a bit off again, and then put some pieces on there the same direction. And that's it, that's all it was.
So now I'm filling it up with water to drag in. Oh, yep, she started. Drag it back in.
It's a little too far to do by hand. And if you've done it by hand, well, you're a champion, but I'm not. So I'm gonna get wet here. I'm gonna move. Righto. Alright, lucky last job for the day. Finished milking. A nice effort by the girls today. What are we saying? About 4,400 litres for the day. I think it's just a bit shy of 20 litres a day. Which on a grass-based system, largely heifers, I'm wrapped with how they're going. I probably had higher expectations earlier on, but I've worked out the system now. We got mowing, but more more definitively, we're going topping. So not necessarily mowing for hay or silage, but just to top some grass, or pastures, whatever you want to call them, that have got a bit out of control. Now what I mean by out of control is that they were a bit long and probably should have cut them for like silage, but we needed to graze them because there's only so much you can do. You can't silage everything and then expect them to eat nothing. So let's go have a look. What a magic spot we live in. This is topping. Well, it's mowing, but topping.
So what we're doing, see how we've got this sort of stuff here left? Now if we leave that, the cows really don't like to eat that, and nor could I blame them. It's all just fibrous and they really just don't go for it. They'll sort of go through underneath and pick up this stuff here, the fresh new leaf.
Which is obviously the tastiest part of the plant.
So what we're doing is we're just taking the top off, all that sort of reproductive stemmy sort of stuff that isn't going to be used for anything. We're just taking the top off that, and that also encourages stuff below all this to come back
all nice and leafy and beautiful. So I'm not sure if there's much science in it, but it looks a lot better, and I do feel like they tidy up a paddock a lot better after it. Some paddocks that I might leave like long and a bit of stem and stuff like that are dryland paddocks. So they're the ones that don't see any irrigation. So that, in that instance, we're sort of using this as a bit of a tool to reduce the loss of moisture because it's got more ground cover. Being this is under irrigation, let's go for it. Let's top it, irrigate, bit of fertiliser. Anyway, better get to it. Stand around here talking about it, let's just go do it. This paddock here is a lot worse, so that's one I'll get later too tonight.
It
Definitely needs doing. Actually, funnily enough, that paddock is an annual and it has an earlier flowering date, so it wants to flower, bring its seed head up earlier than everything else. And it's got away from me, and a lot of the cows in there, they didn't really do much. So we'll top it. Anyway, let's go topping. Let's go turn the mower on. There we go. It's all done. It's not as good as I'd hoped.
there is a lot of stuff in places. It's got me a little bit worried that it's going to take a fair bit to get through.
Make a big mat on top and not do much good for the grass. Hoping that won't be the case. I was thinking maybe I should bring the cows in here for like an hour or so just to ruffle things up, and because they're not going to go for it much, but might be worth a try. But where it's
Thin, yeah, it's done a good job and
doesn't look too bad. So we're chasing residual. So in an ideal world, we would come in, we would graze a paddock at 3-leaf stage, being ryegrass, 3-leaf stage, 3,000 kilograms of dry matter, which is sort of the top of your boot, whatever that is, like 12, 14 centimeters. And then you want to graze it down to 1,500. So 1,500 you graze, and then 1,500 you're left with for a nice base to grow back from.
with this, the way it was,
we had places there that probably had 3,000 cover still, and we're just not really doing a real good job of grazing it. That's what it comes back to. My grazing management isn't on point yet. So yeah, because I don't really like to top, unless, like, there are other examples where it is handy to do so, but don't love it. You're burning a lot of diesel, it's a lot of time, all that sort of stuff. But sometimes it is a little bit necessary. Anyway, enough of me ranting on. That'll do for today's video. A lot of mowing, topping, mowing. It's all mowing. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye.